जाएगा, ठीक है। तो we'll start with STG 5, 6, 7. टेस्ट हुआ था आज, you can take test from Apsara also, but ठीक है, एक बार आपको आइडिया हो जाएगा because you have joined new just now. and पोर्टल पे अपलोड हुआ है, एक बार चेक कर लीजिए. I mean 11 बजे तक अपलोड हो जाएगा, but printouts are still there in admin department. You can collect it from there. I was about to bring one copy, but I just forgot it. Okay, so can we just have a quick look at what we have done in STG in the past class? Can we just have a quick look? क्या किया था हमने past class में? Okay. तो मैंने थोड़े क्वेश्चंस दिए, तो क्वेश्चंस करें आपने? नहीं करे, ठीक है. So I think it's time to also go through that कितना हमने syllabus cover कर लिया, because it's been quite lot time. I think basics we have done, biodiversity conservation we have done. तो आपका repeat होगा जब मैंने start the class again, then you will be a part of it. जितना आपने कर लिया वो तो होगा ही. Then start the class again, then you will be a part of it. ठीक है? Then environmental issues done, right? Ozone layer depletion, acid rain done. Your UNFCCC done, COP done. आप COP में आए थे, right? Environmental pollution भी हो चुका है. हाँ, COP 30, right? COP 30 में हो जाएगा आपका. फिर आपका this done, what do you call domestic laws and institution done. I think this also we have done, your bond conventions, etc. Ramsar site done, sites done. Sites हो गया. तो आप थे sites वाली क्लास में. आज हम I think by today we will be able to wind up the whole syllabus, because हमें सिर्फ STG करना है और environmental impact assessment करना है. COP से पहले है. You are in, I think you have covered 40%. हाँ, आपने 40% cover कर लिया. So that's fine. फिर से स्टार्ट होगा तो शायद आपको मंथ लग जाएगा. हाँ, इसमें नहीं, एक सब्जेक्ट में it takes hardly 2 months. That's it. Depends सब्जेक्ट कौन सा है. तो geography takes little more time. और मैंने बहुत आराम से पढ़ाया है तब. बाकी सब चल रहा है अभी आपका. साथ में चल रहे हैं आपके 5. अच्छा, ज्योग्राफी भी चल रहा है? नहीं चल रहा ना अभी. इकोनॉमिक्स है, हिस्ट्री है, और साइंस एंड टेक है, IR है. इंटरनल्स में नहीं आता, मेंस में आएगा, पर हाँ आपको करना होगा अभी. सिलेबस तो यू हैव टू कवर. ठीक है. ओके, सो नेक्स्ट सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल पे आते हैं, व्हिच इज योर जेंडर इक्वालिटी. जेंडर गोल नंबर 5 लिखिए, जेंडर इक्वालिटी. करेक्ट, दिस इज SDG 5, सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल 5. ये हमारे 17. हाँ, मैंने बहुत आराम से आपको पिछली बार कराया था, तो इतना रिक्वायर्ड नहीं है. देखिए, जेंडर इक्वालिटी. नेक्स्ट इज जेंडर इक्वालिटी. देखिए, अचीव जेंडर इक्वालिटी एंड एम्पावर ऑल women and girls. Achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. Next में लिखिए why it matters. Next में लिखिए why it matters. women and girls, next point, women and girls, around 49.63% of global population, 49.63% of global population and potential. 49.63% of global population and potential. तो जेंडर एंड पोटेंशियल, आपको मैं बात बताती हूँ, in China 27% of the women are contributing to the GDP, while in India the ratio, the percentage is very less. So the only thing is that what we are not providing, women का जो contribution है in the GDP is very less. Why? Because they have been always associated with doing the household activities. They have been given a certain kind of obligations. They have been given certain kind of restrictions by the society. And why these restrictions are there? Because if she's accepting the motherhood, at that point of time she has to do that only. So only the point here in India, and as well as in the different parts of the world also, that women are always seen as somebody who has a particular task, and they have to always, this is their duty. It has been categorized like it is their duty. Rest of the things if they are doing, that's additional. तो जब आप जॉब को एडिशनल बकेट में डाल दोगे तो उसका इंपॉर्टेंस क्या हो जाएगा, अपने आप ही यही जाएगा, बिकॉज यू आर ट्राइंग टू से दिस इज व्हाट इज इंपॉर्टेंट, दिस इज नॉट. And when you are prioritizing this particular activity, this particular area of your life as something which is essential, and other part of your life is not as essential, obviously she will try to skip that. ठीक है, इससे क्या हो रहा है, हमारा जीडीपी का जो कंट्रीब्यूशन है बहुत कम है. ऑल्दो विमेन आर क्वाइट केपेबल इन इंडिया. इट्स नॉट दैट दे कैन नॉट फॉर्म अ मेजर चंक ऑफ इट. इट्स जस्ट दैट दे आर गिवन द लिबर्टी इन द सेंस दैट ठीक है आपको ये करना है, करिए. नहीं, फॉर द मेन इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट. फॉर द मेन द केस इज दे हैव टू डू इट. मेन का क्या है कि आपको करना ही करना है. यू हैव टू गो एंड वर्क एंड आउट एंड ऑन समथिंग. ठीक है, व्हाई दिस इज नॉट फॉर विमेन? Ideally, what should happen in today's generation, the activities that has been only burdened on the women should be divided into partners, and then both should go and work, because working is something which is very essential for an individual as well. It's not about the society. It's not about that we are prioritizing or not. It's about if one is capable and can bring in a lot of changes for themselves and for the society, they should contribute. Okay. So next लिखेंगे, gender inequality persists globally. Gender inequality. Gender inequality persists globally, comma, limiting social progress, limiting social progress and economic development. And economic development. Next point, unpaid care work. We have seen that the care work, the work that the women are doing at the home, is not considered as the economic activity, although the kind of the work they are doing at the home is quite immense. The contribution is immense, but this is not counted as in a GDP by many countries. Okay, so write down next, underrepresentation in politics. Underrepresentation in politics. Next point, impacts of gender inequality. क्या क्या impacts हो सकते हैं gender inequality के, बताइए. What could be all impacts of the gender inequality? Educational disadvantage, right? On the specific gender, right? You are not giving the proper education to a particular section, while you are giving the education. Education is something which is the fundamental right of every human being, right? In India, it is a fundamental right of a citizen that education should be given to, irrespective of what they are capable of and what they want to do in life. Irrespective of that, you should give it. First is educational disadvantage. Educational disadvantage leads to fewer skills and job opportunities. It leads to fewer skills and job opportunities. Next, yes. Next, opportunities. Next लिखेंगे. The example, stay in school. The stay in school has been promoted through midday meals. Stay in school has been promoted through midday meals. Next point, impact में limits economic growth. Limits economic growth. Put a hyphen. Put a hyphen. Full participation of women in the workforce. Full participation of the women in the workforce. Full participation of the women in the workforce could add significantly to GDP. Could add significantly to GDP. To GDP. Your next goal is clean and water sanitation. Next, write down. Next, goal number 6. हाँ, goal number 6 लिखिए. Clean water and sanitation. Goal number 6 लिखिए. Clean water and sanitation. तो उससे पहले भी मैं दे चुकी, but you were not there. मतलब I think you won't be able to attempt fully because मैंने तो आपको सिर्फ बताया, inform किया है कि test है, but because it's ठीक है. Okay, then we can do done. Clean water and sanitation, write down. What is the aim? To ensure availability and sustainable management of water. To ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Sustainable management of water and sanitation of all. First point is why it matters. Clean water तो सबकी requirement है, क्यों? Basic amenity है. Write down. Access to water and sanitation. First point, why it matters me. Access to water and sanitation is a human right. Access to water and sanitation. Access to water and sanitation is a human right. Next point, demand for water is growing. Demand for water is growing faster than the human population. Demand for water is growing faster than the human population. और इसका कोई alternative भी नहीं है. Water का कोई है alternative? Nothing. Next point, faster than population. Third point, half the global population experiences severe water scarcity. Half the global population experiences severe water scarcity at least 1 month per year. At least 1 month per year. अगर आप करंट ग्लोबल डेटा देखेंगे वाटर का, तो इट इज क्वाइट पैथेटिक. ठीक है, अराउंड द वर्ल्ड. What is the current global data right now? 3 billion people lacked hand washing facilities at home in 2017. 3 billion people lacked. ठीक है, और क्या लिख सकते हैं डेटा में आप? 4.2 billion face daily challenges in challenges in assessing basic sanitation. 4.2 billion. That's a huge number. कितना बिलियन का पॉपुलेशन है आपका वर्ल्ड का? 8 बिलियन. और 8 बिलियन से आधा बिलियन क्या फेस कर रहा है? मतलब 50% ऑफ पीपल आर फेसिंग द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ बेसिक सैनिटेशन. 4.2 billion face daily challenges in accessing basic sanitation. 3 billion people lacked hand washing facilities at home. 3 billion people lack hand washing facilities at home. Okay. Now understand what could be why the water is like that. Why we are not able to access it? Because climatic conditions, the lot of anthropogenic activities that we are doing and climate change is happening. Because of that, this is the problem. So first, write down unpredictable water availability due to climate change. Unpredictability of water availability due to climate change. Why? देखिए अभी ये वाले ईयर आप कौन सा कंसीडर कर रहे हैं? एल नीनो. अभी आपको समझ नहीं आएगा एल नीनो क्या होता है, ये आप ज्योग्राफी में पढ़ेंगे. एल नीनो का सिंपल मतलब मैं समझा देती हूँ लेमन लैंग्वेज में कि इस ईयर आपका रेनफॉल कम रहता है, तो चांसेस ज्यादा बढ़ जाते हैं ऑफ द ड्रॉट. अब जिस ईयर आपका रेनफॉल कम रहेगा तो इसका क्या मतलब है? योर वाटर अवेलेबिलिटी इज गोइंग टू बी लेस इन मेनी ऑफ द एरियाज. When water availability is going to be less, so क्या होगा? Scarcity of the water can be one of the challenge for the country. ठीक है? Due to climate change. ब्रैकेट में लिखेंगे ड्रॉट्स. अच्छा, अब पुअर एक्सेस होता है अगर वाटर का तो क्या हो सकता है? सैनिटेशन प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है. सैनिटेशन प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है. डिजीजेस, वाटर बॉर्न डिजीजेस हो सकती है बिकॉज यू आर नॉट हैविंग अ क्लीन वाटर. So all these are the consequences. So write down the consequences. लिखिए increase in waterborne diseases such as malaria, diarrhea. Increase in waterborne diseases such as malaria and diarrhea. Waterborne, VOR, waterborne diseases. Next लिखेंगे it reduces. Next लिखेंगे it reduces biodiversity and damages ecosystem. It reduces biodiversity and damages ecosystem. Okay. Now come to the next goal, which is your goal number 7, affordable and clean energy. What do you understand by affordable and clean energy? Clean energy किसको बोलते हैं? Very good. Renewable sources of energy. India is doing a lot in the renewable source of energy. They are establishing and planting a lot of solar parks. They are putting a lot of investments into that. So affordable. Why affordable? Because everybody should have the access to the energy. Because energy नहीं होगा, so people won't be having the affordable नहीं होगा. Especially energy तो है पर affordable नहीं है. तो only some section of the society will be able to have an access of it and other will not. So this will create a barrier of what? Of not having something, and then वो क्या हो जाएंगे? Automatically उनको कम advantage मिलेगा. ठीक है? So affordable and clean energy लिखिए. Ensure access to affordable. It ensures access to affordable, comma reliable, comma sustainable, and modern energy for all. And modern energy for all. Next, transitioning to clean energy is the key. Transitioning to clean energy is the key to combating climate change. Transitioning to clean energy is a key to combat means to fight, combating climate change and ensuring combating climate change. COMBATING, combating climate change and ensuring sustainable development. Next point, fossil fuels remain dominant. Fossil fuels remain dominant, but they emit lot of greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases कैसे emit होती हैं? What is the issue in the greenhouse gases? आपके fossil fuels अगर आप use करोगे ज़्यादा, एक तो क्या problem है इसके साथ? Availability, the reserves of the fossil fuels are quite limited. So when the reserves are quite limited, that is also an issue. Second is the greenhouse gas emission which is happening through these, and this is further leading to what? Lot of climate change. So we are trying to pivot from the fossil fuel usage to the clean energy fuel. And clean energy fuel we can get from what all? We can get this from solar, wind, geothermal, tidal, and biomass. All of these are the sources. Huh? Hydro, right. All of these are the sources. ठीक है? तो न्यूक्लियर, हाँ वो भी है, but that is not so much in use, both from fission and fusion. फ्यूजन पे अभी वर्क चल रहा है, फ्यूजन आपका पॉपुलर है. ठीक है, राइट डाउन, ड्रॉ दिस. fully objective. I think 30 questions are there. For prelims space, I think online students will also get it. I mean, on the portal it will get uploaded. I think like today. Yes, really, you can just because you have to tick mark on that, right? You'll be also getting the answers. If your answers you can check by yourself. इसलिए आंसर्स इसके साथ ही अटैच हो जाएंगे, पोर्टल पे होंगे, ठीक है? पोर्टल पे आप आंसर्स विद एक्सप्लेनेशन आई हैव गिवन so that you can also check that why it is wrong. अच्छा कर पाएंगे आप कुछ सेक्शंस में आप कर पाएंगे यू विल करेक्ट 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 you will have get lot of confidence from this paper. explanation भी देख सकते हैं आप. चलिए आगे बढ़े. ओके राइट नाउ why it matters, क्यों important है, why the energy is important for us, क्यों important है, because we need energy in all the sectors of the life, whether in industries, whether anywhere else, we would need in the energy. and energy की demand सबसे ज्यादा कौन सी country में सबसे ज्यादा है? Can you tell me one country? डेवलपिंग एंड डेवलप बोथ, उनमें से आपको एक चूज करना है कि सबसे ज्यादा किसका डिमांड सबसे ज्यादा होगा. डेवलप में कौन सी कंट्री? Yes, USA. USA is, although it says that आपको conservation करना है, ये करना है, but the demand of the USA, the consumption of the USA is quite a lot than the other states, but other countries, right? India का demand भी है, पर वो उनसे बहुत comparison में बहुत कम है, ठीक है? So write down energy underpins. Why it matters में लिखेंगे. Energy underpins all sectors. Energy underpins all sectors, comma, including healthcare, comma, education, comma, agriculture, comma, business and technology. Next point, transitioning to clean energy is the key to combating climate change and ensuring sustainable development. Transitioning to clean energy is to combating climate change and ensuring sustainable development. Next point, fossil fuel remain dominant, comma, but they release greenhouse gases, comma, harming both people and the planet. Akansha, are you able to get it? Sai, Karthik, ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Akansha, I hope that I have given the test of yours, and if you have not collected from the admin department. I have already submitted to them. Have you collected it?
No, I have been able to come to the institute.
Okay, done.
And can you repeat this point again? Fossil fuel remains.
Okay, fossil fuel remain dominant, comma, but they release greenhouse gases, comma, harming both people and planets. Now, let me talk about the current status. How much are we able to access to the clean energy fuel, and how much the people are being able to check it. We recently have heard of the news yesterday only. E85 has been introduced. right? Who is the Minister of Petroleum? Harshdeep, something like that. Harshdeep Singh, I guess. Just check the name. Is it correct? In the morning only, I was going through a news wherein he was telling that E85 is, we are going to launch that at the petrol pumps. Earlier we had E20, etc. But these are different percentage are also coming, 85, 87. So what is the utility of that being introduced lately? Harshdeep Singh and Puri, right. The full name is Harshdeep Singh Puri. He is the Minister of Oil and he's the Ministry, Petroleum and Oil Ministry, and he has lately introduced it. And I was watching his interview in the morning only while I was coming, I was commuting. So he was telling this thing only, that why it is important, because people have to adapt it. Abhi kya hai, we have been so rooted, we have been so stick and fixated with the concept of traditional and the conventional fossil fuels that turning into other fossil fuels, look, I mean, we are accepting it as a big challenge, right? For the consumer level or the consumer level also, I'm not talking about the government level only. At the consumer level also, it's becoming very difficult, because we have seen the petroleum, diesel, CNG being one of the fuels that we are using, our parents are using. So all of this has to take a transition. Why transition is required? Because of the changing world, because of the climate change problems. We have to stick to that. We have to come out of the fixated mentality to more flexible one. So this is the demand of the time. So next is, what is the current status? Nearly 90% of global population has electricity excess. करंट स्टेटस क्या है कि 90% के पास, ग्लोबल पॉपुलेशन के पास इलेक्ट्रिसिटी एक्सेस है, which is a good news. But the point here is, what I'm trying to focus on, the electricity excess is through the fossil fuels, not the renewable energy sources. Right? Okay. Now, what we need to do, businesses need to shift 100% to the renewable power, right? They should protect ecosystem, because a lot of businesses which are running on the fossil fuel, and we cannot stop it, because of GDP, then it will dwindle, the economy will dwindle. For that matter, we would need it, but we need a transition. Okay? So businesses में लिखिए, shift to 100% renewable power, shift to 100% renewable power. Shift to 100% renewable power, comma, protect ecosystems, and adopt energy efficient processes, ठीक है? अब आप इसमें क्वेश्चन लिखिए, जो आपका असाइनमेंट क्वेश्चन है, लिखिए, what individuals can do to adopt, क्वेश्चन, असाइनमेंट क्वेश्चन लिखिए, मार्क कर देना वहां पे असाइनमेंट क्वेश्चन. What individuals can do to adopt cleaner fuel energy. Right on the next question under that only. Question number 2. State the recent developments and initiatives. Brought in by the government to popularize the use of clean fuel energy. Right? Okay. So next goal number 8 is decent work and economic growth. Write down goal number 8, which is decent work and economic growth. What is the status? What is the meaning of decent work? So see, anything you are putting out in the statement, it cannot be stated without any definition, right? अगर आप किसी definition के बाहर किसी भी चीज को state करें, it would mean what? कि आप उस चीज को identify नहीं कर पा रहे. मतलब for some people decent work would mean something else, for some would mean something else. For example, the people who are into corporates, there's no offense to them, but if they are not getting a good coffee in their offices, so definitely they will take it as something which is not provided in the office. It's a major thing that should be provided. Okay. For others, it's just a normal thing. If they do get it, that's fine. If they do not get it, it's fine. For some, the infrastructure matters a lot. For some, it does not. So decent work definition could be subjective for all of us. देखिए आपको जैसे क्या चाहिए ऑफिस के अंदर, क्या मैंडेट होना चाहिए आपके लिए. Let's talk coffee. Coffee is quite popular for all the people who are getting into that. The people who have been already there in the sector for a very long time, उनके लिए शायद अब मैटर कर जाए because they have been adapted to it. अब उन्होंने भी वो कल्चर एक्सेप्ट कर लिया है. So coffee is must. That's why you will see a lot of cafes opened inside the whole corporate systems only. उनका हो या ना हो, but it is there so that people can come and they can have that thing. I mean, it's a part of the environment and they do enjoy it. So this is very important. अब decent work किसी के लिए कुछ हो सकता है. It could be like I should be given this amount of the salary. For some it could be a flexible hours. ठीक है, तो हर किसी का अपना definition हो सकता है. But the point is you need to define it. आपको बेसिक डेफिनेशन डिसेंट वर्क का देना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि किसी ने अगर कुछ बोल दिया कि हमें डिसेंट वर्क नहीं मिल रहा है, किस बेसिस पे? बिकॉज कॉफी शॉप नहीं है वहाँ पे. इट्स नॉट एक्सेप्टेबल. ठीक है, तो हमें डिफाइन करना पड़ेगा. सो राइट डाउन व्हाट डू यू अंडरस्टैंड बाय डिसेंट वर्क. क्या क्या डिसेंट वर्क के अंदर आता है, पहले ये लिखेंगे. फर्स्ट है फेयर वेजेस. फर्स्ट राइट डाउन फेयर वेजेस. सेकेंड वर्क प्लेस सेफ्टी. पहला है फेयर वेजेस, सेकंड है वर्क प्लेस सेफ्टी. नेक्स्ट है सोशल सिक्योरिटी. नेक्स्ट है सोशल सिक्योरिटी. फोर्थ है इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी. फोर्थ है इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी. और फिफ्थ है स्कोप फॉर ग्रोथ. और फिफ्थ है स्कोप फॉर ग्रोथ. अब इसमें से आपके लिए सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट क्या है उसको टिक मार्क करिए. सारा ही इंपॉर्टेंट है या सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट कौन सा है? सारा ही. इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी वो भी इंपॉर्टेंट है. स्कोप फॉर ग्रोथ ये डिसेंट वर्क के अंदर है. ये 8 है. डिसेंट वर्क एंड इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ. दिस इज SDG 8. सोशल डेवलपमेंट गोल 8. ठीक है. Now, why this goal matters? Because it improves the living standards. Inclusive growth है. ठीक है, लिखिए why it matters. लिखिए inclusive growth. पहला point inclusive growth. और उसके अंदर लिखेंगे write down. Growth improves living standards. Growth improves living standards and drives social progress. It improves living standard and drives social progress. Next point. Decent work provides fair incomes. Decent work provides fair incomes, comma, job security, comma. Yes, decent work provides fair income, comma, job opportunities, job securities, comma, social protection and opportunities for personal and professional growth. And opportunities for personal and professional growth. Okay. Now, what could be the solution and strategies for it? Yes, set standards. Very good. First point लिखिए set standards. Example इंडिया में भी आया था. सिक्योरिटी, सोशल सिक्योरिटी कोड्स आए थे 2020 में, wherein they have also recognized gig workers as one of the part of the ecosystem, and they should also be given. They are considered as they have been recognized by the government. freelancers there we are talking about. ठीक है, Social Security Code 2020. Next, provide social protection irrespective of job type. Social protection is one of the most asked demands in the decent work. Social security should be provided. Social security in sense of that there should be no vulnerability in terms of the women are not vulnerable in the system, in the ecosystem. They should not be, because most of the time women get they are being targeted over there. So this should not happen. The fair system should be there. Okay. All right. Industry, innovation and infrastructure, which is goal number 9. Write down goal number 9. Industry, innovation and infrastructure. Industry, innovation and infrastructure. What do you understand by industry, innovation, infrastructure? What is that? Innovation should be there. Industry important है. Innovation important है. क्यों? अगर innovate नहीं करेंगे कुछ भी, तो how you be able to match with the pace of the world? If world is accepting the AI, they are integrating AI in all the systems. India has to do it automatically, because we are also keeping a pace with the world. Otherwise, if AI integration is important, AI revolution is been accepted by the other countries, India has to do it as well. So this is what innovation is. And infrastructure, we also have to also provide the better infrastructure. For example, you cannot demand that आपका उसी पैरलल उसी चीज इसी तरह से आपका जैसे पहले चलता था वैसा ही अब चलेगा. Why do you need? Because for example, infrastructure in terms of, I'm talking about the roads also. Other government industries are doing better, but the roads is not good, infrastructure is not good, the whole system is not good. Gurgaon में तो सबसे ज़्यादा problem है इस चीज का. Remember previous monsoons, right? तो आपको ये लगता है कि ये fair है, जबकि सारे startups, आपके सारे unicorns are being placed in Gurgaon. All the investors there in Gurgaon. Your foreign investors also, they come and stay over there. The kind of impression that has been put on them is it's definitely not good. ठीक है, so the kind of the pressure that has been given to them, so ये सब क्या है, गलत है. In fact, the people who are living in the best of the best apartments over there were facing the same kind of a situation. सबका एक जैसा था situation, because ultimately you would need what? आप obviously airplanes से जाएंगे नहीं, so you would need something that the government should provide. Government at least इतना duty बनता है कि आप इतना infrastructure to provide, basic infrastructure, is having a good road, good drainage system. And Gurgaon is one of the best example. Why? Because it faced it. In fact, DLF का market भी गिर गया था पिछले साल, and then they started doing their PR again. Okay, I think the situation is fine now. Still, it's same. पर अभी तो monsoon हो ही नहीं रहा. क्या किया हमने? कुछ changes करे? बनाए हैं? कुछ हो रहा है वहाँ पे? बहुत भर गया था गोल्फ कोर्स रोड ना. अच्छा, नहीं भरा अभी, मॉनसून आया भी नहीं है उस तरह से जैसे पिछली बार था. तब पता चलेगा, द टेस्ट ऑफ द इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर विल बी डन, अब पता चलेगा, राइट. सुबह भी होता है गेस्ट ट्रैफिक तो. अच्छा, उससे पहले पीक हाउ डू यू कम लाइक कम्यूट? हाँ, है ना. तो कितना, आई थिंक सुबह इतना टाइम नहीं लगता. आई थिंक हाँ, हार्डली 40 minutes. Today, I think from 7, it does not take time, but in the peak hours, it's good rush. You know? Okay. Write on the objective: industry, innovation, infrastructure. Industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Write on the objective: develop resilient infrastructure. Develop resilient infrastructure, comma, promotes resilient, RESILIENT, resilient infrastructure, comma, promote sustainable industrialization, and Foster innovation. Foster innovation. First point, why this goal matters. Why this goal matters. First point is this. देखिए, economic growth, comma, social equity. It is required for economic growth, comma, social equity, and climate resilience. And climate resilience rely on modern infrastructure, and innovations. Next, inclusive industrialization. Inclusive industrialization ensures equal access to opportunities. Industrialization ensures equal access to opportunities and fuels productivity. ठीक है? Now write down why it matters. First, sustainable industries create jobs. Comma, raise living standards. Sustainable industries create jobs, comma, raise living standards. Open doors for global trade. Next point. Technology improves services. Technology improves services, comma, including education, healthcare, and transport. Next, green industrial practices help protect the environment. Green industrial practices help protect the environment. That's all. Okay, I'm giving you 2 minutes break. Then we'll start with reduce inequalities, which is your goal number 10. From 10 to 17, then we have to do. Take time, take 2 minutes break. Okay, online students, if you have any doubt, you can ask. What is the question? Show me. Question number? Which one it is? अभी हम आए नहीं है. 13. Okay, so let's start with goal number 10 now, which is your reduced inequalities. अब ये आप खुद लिख सकते हैं, मतलब इसमें इतना ज्यादा एक्सप्लेन करने का नहीं है. तो राइट आउट reduce inequality within and among country. Reduce inequality within and among country. और किस बेसिस पे आपको inequality reduce करनी है? Across incomes. इनकम्स के अक्रॉस रिड्यूस करनी है, जेंडर के अक्रॉस रिड्यूस करनी है, एज के अक्रॉस रिड्यूस करनी है, डिसेबिलिटी के अक्रॉस रिड्यूस करनी है. राइट डाउन. इनइक्वालिटी एग्जिस्ट अक्रॉस इनकम, कॉमा जेंडर, कॉमा एज, कॉमा डिसेबिलिटी, कॉमा रेस, कॉमा एथनिसिटी, कॉमा रिलीजन and identity. अगर हम ये इनइक्वालिटी को कम कर देंगे तो क्या होगा? विल इम्प्रूव. पॉवर्टी रिडक्शन कम हो जाएगा. ठीक है, मतलब पॉवर्टी रिडक्शन क्या होगा? काफी कम. देन सॉरी, इम्पैक्ट ऑफ इनइक्वालिटी में बताया ना मैंने आपको. ओके, राइट डाउन. इम्पैक्ट ऑफ इनइक्वालिटी लिखिए पहले. व्हाट आर द इम्पैक्ट्स ऑफ इनइक्वालिटी लिखिए. इट फ्यूल्स डिजीजेस एंड एनवायरमेंटल डिग्रेडेशन. बिकॉज एक को एक्सेसिबिलिटी एक्सेस है चीजों का, एक को नहीं है. ऑब्वियसली द वन विच इज हैविंग एन एक्सेस विल आउट परफॉर्म द अदर इन ऑल सेंस. नेक्स्ट, it harms self-worth. It harms self-worth and leads to marginalization. अब इसमें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट लिखना है हमें की चैलेंजेस. मैडम इंपॉर्टेंट लिखिए. Over 70% of the global population faces rising inequalities. क्या सिर्फ फेसेस राइजिंग इनइक्वालिटी? क्या इनइक्वालिटी का कॉन्सेप्ट सिर्फ डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज में है? नो, इन द डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज आल्सो दे आर फेसिंग अ डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ इनइक्वालिटी. जैसे रेसिज्म. Racism is one of the most prominent thing. In fact, it is happening right now also. If you see in Canada, if you see in USA and Australia, Indians are facing this. Every now and then we are getting the video getting viral from that place wherein they are teasing or they are bullying the Indians over there. And for what? Just because they are working over there and making them living out of that country. So they are, I think they are kind of insecure by the Indians, because Indians are more hardworking. They put in a lot of effort wherever they go. So there is no point that you are trying to target a certain community. That's not fine. This is one of the inequality का ही एक क्या है, एक parameter, एक what do you call example है. So this is what you have to learn. अगर आप बाहर कहीं जा रहे हैं, so you have to treat every human, every person, irrespective of their origin. You have to treat them as equal. You cannot say that these should be treated in a much privileged manner than the other people, and one should have more leverage over other. That is not the case. Indians have a huge role in the US economy also. They have tried in and they have put in a lot of effort in bringing their IT sectors above. Like they have worked very hard in that. Okay? All those Silicon Valleys, etc. Okay. Write down global reality status. Global reality status लिखिए. First point लिखेंगे इसमें. Inequality is universal. Inequality is universal. Put a hyphen. Affecting both rich and poor nations. Affecting both rich and poor nations. Next point. Even developed countries face issues. Next point. Even developed countries face issues like racism, comma, homophobia, and faces issues like racism, racism, comma, homophobia, and economic exclusions. Next point, solutions must go beyond borders. Economic exclusions. Economic exclusion. Write down economic exclusion. देखिए solutions must go beyond borders. Solution must go beyond border. Comma, as global crises affect everyone. Okay. Now write down the goal number 11, which is your sustainable cities and communities. Sustainable cities and communities, which is a goal number 11. Communities. Sustainable cities and communities. What is the objective? Write down to make cities inclusive. To make cities inclusive, comma, safe. To make cities inclusive, comma, safe, comma, resilient and sustainable. The objective is to make cities inclusive, comma, safe, comma, resilient and sustainable. Write down why this goal matters. Why this goal matters. First, लिखेंगे pre-existing urban issues. What is a pre-existing urban issue? I'll explain you this. आपको ये खुद लिखना है अभी क्लास में. Pre-existing urban issue है that a lot of populations have come over there, and we do not have a sort of a urban planning ready with us which can accommodate so many people. So there is an issue. There is a chaos which is happening in the major cities. For example, in metropolitan cities, you see that there is a lot of clustered settlements which has been done, and the settlements which has been done on the outskirts of the city, and there is no permission of them. Okay, of all these settlements which have been done. So either what will happen, this is considered as one of the case of the encroachments, or either they are considered as something which has been extended. I mean, they are extending their area without the permission. So the point here is why they have to do it. First, you have to think why they have to do this. First, obviously, economy, the accessibility could be one of the reasons. Second is in case they are not providing the better accommodation. Either the accommodations are too costly that one cannot afford. Second, either the arrangements have not been done in a proper way. So if these two cases are there, definitely they would have to make certain other kind of a solution alternatives in order to do that. और अगर ये करते करते क्या हो जाता है, फिर क्लस्टर्ड सेटलमेंट्स हो जाते हैं, आपका पेरिफेरी में सेटलमेंट्स काफी ज्यादा हो जाते हैं, एंड दैट मेक्स द सिचुएशन इवन वर्स. ठीक है, तो वी नीड अ प्लानिंग किस बेसिस पे चाहिए? थ्रू द प्रॉपर डेटा. अगर आपको आज पता है आप अर्बन प्लानिंग कर रहे हैं, सो यू हैव टू थिंक ऑफ द 2 decades of the past that how situations were, और हमें आगे का 2 decades का भी सोचना पड़ेगा, because obviously it is going to get increased. The rural population is going to get they're going to get migrate to the urban areas. They're going to need more of all the basic amenities. They will need the accommodation. So you have to think like that. So आप उसके ऊपर लिखिए, write down on this. Why this goal matters लिखिए आप. अभी अर्बन प्लानिंग की जगह हम क्या वर्ड यूज करते हैं? सस्टेनेबल प्लानिंग. कैन यू राइट सस्टेनेबल प्लानिंग पे लिखिए, इस गोल के बारे में लिखिए, बाय दिस फैक्टर्स. राइट डाउन ऑन योर ओन. ठीक है, डन. आगे बढ़े. ओके, नाउ what is the benefit of planning? Write down what is the benefit of sustainable planning and sustainable cities. लिखिए. First is investment in public transport and infrastructure. Invest in public transport and infrastructure. Boost quality of life. Boost quality of life. Second, economic growth. Third, environmental sustainability. And fourth, community safety. That's it. Now come to goal number 12, which is responsible consumption and production. What do you understand by responsible consumption? कि आप कोई भी चीज यूज कर रहे हैं उसको क्या कर रहे हैं, रिसाइकिल कर रहे हैं, रिड्यूस कर रहे हैं, रीयूज कर रहे हैं, इसी को कहते हैं. अभी इन COP26 प्राइम मिनिस्टर हैज टॉक अबाउट लाइफ. व्हाट इज दैट? wherein you have to accept, आपको चेंज करना पड़ेगा आपका लाइफस्टाइल, द वे इन विच एट इंडिविजुअल लेवल people are consuming the things. For example, he talked about that आपको यहीं से कंज्यूमर लेवल से आपको वेस्टेज क्या करना पड़ेगा, इंडिविजुअल लेवल से कम करना पड़ेगा. You have to make the choices whenever you are going out, whether to go for the organic product or inorganic product. You have to turn to more of the products which are more biodegradable rather than the products which are not. Plastic usage has to be reduced at the consumer level only, right? So this is what. So you have to make the changes in your lifestyle at the consumer level, at the individual level. Then only if you will calculate, we'll try to will calculate everything together. Then only we'll be able to understand कि उसका impact क्या है. Otherwise, अगर आप ये देखिए आप गवर्नमेंट ही सब कुछ करेगा या फिर सिर्फ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ही सब कुछ करेंगे, दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. वी हैव टू टेक द ओनर्स एट एन इंडिविजुअल लेवल. दैट इज द नीड ऑफ द आवर. अगर फॉर एग्जांपल इफ यू आर गोइंग आउट एंड यू आर टेकिंग द प्लास्टिक बैग्स, so those plastic bags if you are throwing away, so these plastic bags will in turn will do what? So environment pollution. So environment awareness hona bahut zaruri hai. We have to be more I've seen a lot of people from the big schools, not in schools, I mean the colleges, and also people who are in Mumbai. They know very well. They are quite aware about the environmental education. They do have that environment कि आपको ये use करने से क्या environment पे असर पड़ सकता है, ये use करने से क्या, which I've not seen in the other places. ठीक है? People, even the children, they know, 14-year, 15-year children, they do know that what we are using. If I'm using this plastic cup, so they won't be using it this. They'll be using something else which is made even more biodegradable. So they are doing it, they're accepting it. So this is what that awareness has to be given and penetrated in the lower, in the other sections also, so that they should have this education. And it's very important education, in fact, in these days. So write down responsible consumption and production. The aim is to ensure sustainable consumption and responsible consumption and production. It is responsible production and consumption. अभी जो आपके जो प्लास्टिक रूल्स आए हैं 2016, you can also mention that in this responsibility rules. What is that? कि अगर आप प्लास्टिक प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं तो उसका क्या यूज हो रहा है, whether it is being treated well or not, वो सब आपको चेक करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है? 2016. और इसको फिर अमेंड भी किया गया था. So you can put all those these things into it. ठीक है? Okay. Why we need that? पहले लिखिए. What are the current challenges? Current challenges लिखेंगे आप इसमें. First point.
Ma'am, can you repeat it same?
Responsible consumption and production, which is our goal number 12. Ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns globally. Next point, why this goal matters. First point, past progress has come at a cost. What cost that we have to bear, and we are bearing till now, which is your environmental degradation. Past progress has come at a cost, environmental degradation. Now threatens the ecosystem and human survivals. Now write down the role of consumers, which is quite pertinent with respect to this. देखिए, reduce waste by avoiding access and reuse resources. Reduce waste by avoiding excess and reuse resources. Next, make informed purchases. Make informed purchases. Put a hyphen, write down. Choose sustainable. Choose sustainable. Choose sustainable, ethical and local products. Ethical and local products. Next point. Cut down plastics. Cut down plastics. What did I tell you? That is very important. The role of the consumer, the role of individual is quite indispensable in these cases. Okay? So write down avoid plastic straws, use reusable bags, recycle responsibly. All these things are required at the consumer level in this. That's why they're talking about consumption and production. Now, goal number 13, which you can all do very nicely and easily, which is a goal number 13, which you call it as climate action. So you have been reading this climate action things from quite long, from the long hours, like in the past classes also we have studied a lot and have discussed about this already. So objective is to take urgent steps to combat. Objective is to take urgent steps and combat climate change and its impact. To combat objective is to take urgent steps and to combat climate change and its impacts. Climate change. Okay, I'll slow down. Objective is to take urgent steps. To combat climate change and its impacts. Its impacts. Right at the first point under this, why this matters? Obviously, you will write about all the climatic conditions which are happening. क्या climatic conditions लिखेंगे? Your glacial receding, glaciers melt कर रहे हैं, so write down the glaciers receding, ozone layer depletion. Next, resulted in widespread wildfires, hurricanes, droughts and floods. Now write down how climate affects people. How do they affect them? Suppose कोई island था, वहाँ पे लोग रहते थे, it's getting submerged because of the rising water level. So do you think that people have to migrate? Yes. So this migration is happening because of this only. And people are also migrating because there's a lot of diseases which are happening because of all these things which are changing. So write down shifting weather patterns, rising sea level, increased frequency and intensity of disasters, increased frequency and intensity of disaster is leading to drastic climate, increased frequency and intensity of disaster, leading to drastic climatic changes. Now write down what are the progress and challenges. Progress लिखेंगे इसके अंदर. More than 120 developing countries had begun creating more than 120 developing countries have begun creating national adaptation plans. Do you remember this adaptation plans from the COP of UNFCCC? We have already discussed that कि national adaptation plan लिए थे, COP29 में भी लिया गया, which took place in Azerbaijan, Baku. ठीक है, आप जब previous lecture revise करेंगे, we will get to know of this. More than 120 developing countries had begun creating national adaptation plan. Next, investments have been done in low carbon resilient systems. Just go through all of that at once, then we'll start with 14, 15, 16, 17. 4 are left. I think low carbon, मतलब low carbon के low carbon comma लिखिए, comma डालिए, resilient system and resilient system कर सकते हैं, ठीक है ना? Resilient मतलब कुछ भी हो जाए, वो जैसे earthquake आ गया फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आपने सिस्टम्स ऐसे बनाए कि अगर क्लाइमेटिक चेंजेस हो भी रहे हैं then it's not impacting you that much, इसको कहते हैं resilient systems. अगर फॉर एग्जाम्पल रेनफॉल ज्यादा हो गया, ऐसा नहीं हम स्टैग्नेंट हो गए उस टाइम के लिए, we have made our system such that we'll be able to go, we'll have a good infrastructure. यहाँ पे नहीं कि यहाँ पे 10 मिनट बारिश होते हैं and everything gets filled in. That is the case of everywhere, in the Delhi also. I think I had to cover one more topic, and I think in the next class I won't be coming. फिर आपको नेक्स्ट सैटरडे ही आपको ये कंप्लीट हो पाएगा. अगर हम EIA आज कर सकते हैं, दैट्स गुड, बिकॉज एक ही टॉपिक फिर रह गया आपका, जैसे EIA. लेट्स सी. ठीक है, I'll take one more class. नेक्स्ट क्लास नहीं होगा आपका. I will be coming in the next class, so next Saturday, but next to next week. क्योंकि फिर एक ही क्लास में फिर हो जाए. ओके, गोल नंबर 14, लाइफ बिलो वाटर लिखते हैं. बिलो वाटर, लाइफ बिलो वाटर. राइट डाउन. ऑब्जेक्टिव लिखिए, conserve and sustainably use oceans, seas and marine resources. अब आप क्या कर रहे हैं? You are using the fish etc. so recklessly that they, being a part of the ecosystem, are not able to stay in their ecosystems well. If you see the ocean का जो level है, it has been reduced to a level wherein the fishes, whales etc. they are facing the consequences. So all of this has to be taken care of. You don't have to overfish an area. Overfishing is also quite detrimental for the aquatic ecosystems. Apart from that, the trade that we are doing via our sea routes, so that is also creating problem. Oil spills and the throwing away of the noxious chemicals, all of these are taking a toll on all the aquatic animals. So now we have to remember that it's our duty, because we are using the ecosystem, we are using that. So you have to stop using all of these things. So first objective is conserve, देखिए, conserve and sustainably use, conserve and sustainably use oceans, seas and marine resources. क्यों ओशन मैटर करता है हमें? क्योंकि ओशन रेगुलेट करता है ग्लोबल क्लाइमेट को. lot of people don't know this, but ocean is one of the important factor in regulating the global climate. अगर आपने देखा होगा कि कोस्टल एरियाज के पास आपका जो क्लाइमेटिक कंडीशन है वो मॉडरेट रहता है. क्यों? Why it is moderate? Because even if Okay, why ocean matters? लिखिए. Because oceans regulate global climate, right? Why they matter? Because they regulate global climate and provide over 30% of Earth's oxygen. And they provide over 30% of Earth's oxygen. They are home to nearly 1 million species. They are home to nearly 1 million species and supporting food security and supporting food security. 1 million species. They are home to nearly 1 million species and supporting food security, jobs and pharmaceuticals innovations. So from all aspects, this is quite an important ecosystem wherein it's providing us the medicines, it's providing us the food, it's providing us the harbor, it's providing us a way that one can go and reach and they can take their trade. So in all these sphere, it is helping us a lot. So this is our collective duty to also stop the degradation of the aquatic ecosystem. Okay? All right. We are also using it for the tourism, right? So 80% of tourism occurs in the coastal zones only. If you see a lot of beaches, a lot of all these things are present in the coastal area, and people are strictly advised to not to do that. इसलिए हमने क्या start किया India में, not in India, in other countries also. This is one of the international institutions has started, which you call it as blue flag certification. This blue flag certification is given to those beaches which are quite clean, and they have maintained this thing that they are not using the plastic, they are sustainably well grown, they are sustainably, the tourists are also taking a good part in that. So they are making aware all the tourists that why it is important to keep an area clean. So there's a beach in Andhra Pradesh which has got this certificate. In fact, there are two big beaches in the Andhra Pradesh which has got this certification. So blue flag, they've got in Andaman or not, I do not know, but in Andhra Pradesh, I'm quite sure about that. So next goal लिखेंगे, write on the goal number 15, which is the life on land. Write on the life on land, which is the goal number 15. Now, what is the objective of the goal number 15, which is sustainably manage forests? Goal number 15 says sustainably manage forest, combat desertification, halt land degradation, and prevent biodiversity loss. Halt land degradation and prevent biodiversity loss. क्या क्या मेन रीजंस हो सकते हैं आपके फॉर द लैंड डिग्रेडेशन? Salinization is one. Lot of salinity being accumulated in an area is quite detrimental for the productivity. So write down the first is salinization. Second is over exploitation due to agricultural activity. Next, increase carbon emissions due to the forest loss. All of these things are quite detrimental in the sense that the land productivity is getting decreased, and when land will get barren, what will happen? You will not be able to support the agriculture, support nahi kar payenge, so what humans will eat? So in all that aspect, it will become very difficult. So you have to protect the land in any case. Okay, what the community and the governments can do in order to protect the land? First, write down, expand and manage protected forest areas. Expand and manage protected forest area. Next, involve local communities in the forest and biodiversity conservation. Involve local communities in forest and biodiversity conservation. Now the next two goals are very easy. The goal number 16 is peace, justice, and strong institutions. Goal number 16 is peace, justice, and strong institutions. What do you understand by that? That is very important for all the countries, that they should have the accessibility, and people, the whole process in sense should be quite seamless whenever somebody is knocking at the doors of the institution, whenever they are in the need of any kind of a help. So justice should be given. That is one important thing. There should be peace, and there should be strong institutions which are protecting an individual and the community as well. So institutions, strong institutions. So what is the objective? We will just write the objective and I'll explain you. Write down: promote peaceful, comma, inclusive social justices, comma, ensure access to justice. Ensure access matlab the justice, seeking the justice should be affordable for all. Ensure access to justice, and build accountable institutions, and build accountable institutions at all levels. आपको accountable institutions बनाने पड़ेंगे हर level पे. Okay. Objective is to promote peaceful, comma, inclusive societies, comma, inclusive societies, comma, ensure access to justice, ensure access to justice, and build accountable institutions at all levels. ठीक है? Done? Okay. क्यों इसका need पड़ा? Why it was required? To strengthen the laws. Because क्या होता है कि one section is getting the accessibility to the justice and others are not getting. Why? Because the fee could be one of the problem, because reaching out to them could be one of the problem. The awareness could be one of the problem, because they do not know how to run through the procedure. So when you are when you're not unaware about something, that is also one of the issues. So the education about that should be important. They should be told that justice is for all. It's not only for the particular section, it's for everyone who's been targeted. So this should be a mandate in all the countries, right? So write down what needs to be done. Likhiye topic, what needs to be done. The first point is strengthen laws. The first point is strengthen laws, comma, ensure equal protection, ensure equal protection, and uphold freedom of expression. Uphold freedom of expression. Next, develop transparent, comma, inclusive, corruption-free institutions. Transparent and corruption-free. Develop transparent and corruption-free institutions. Now, goal number 17, which is your last goal, is partnership for the goals. For the goals. Goals. Objective likhiye. Strengthen the goal partnerships. Strengthen the goal partnerships to support and achieve sustainable development agenda. Goals and achieve sustainable development agenda. ठीक है? So you should be more in line. Partnership for the goals. जैसे आपका example में लिखिए International Solar Alliance. This is a partnership goal पे based है, where India started this program with France, and every other country started being a part of it gradually. It is what आपका partnership for goals. You have certain aim, vision for something, and then you are collectively doing that thing and gathering and also collecting the funds for that, investments for that. Okay? Okay, you can write down what needs to be done in this. Write down: mobilize more resources. You need to mobilize more resources, comma, technology, comma, finance, comma, skills, and development support. Next, write down: fulfill development aid commitments. Fulfill development aid commitments. Development aid. USAID, fulfill development aid commitments by the developed nations. मतलब जैसे अभी डेवलप कंट्रीज ने क्या बोला, we will provide almost this has been increased, right? From how much it has been increased, from 300 billion they are targeting now to 1 trillion. So this is what that is, 8 commitments should be fulfilled. Encourage multi-stakeholder partnerships. Encourage multi-stakeholder partnerships to pool knowledge and resources. ठीक है. Okay. Knowledge. Okay, so let me just go through this thing. Okay, I'll be able to do this topic also. I was just trying to put it in the next class, but it's okay since we have completed this on time. Okay, so one topic only which is left in the environment, which is the environmental impact assessment. Although इसका जो utility है वो आपका disaster management में भी आता है, but then I am going to explain you right here only. ठीक है, ये टॉपिक इंपॉर्टेंट है. वाई? ये देखिए ओवरलैप करेगा, आपका डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट में भी आपको पढ़ाया जाएगा एंड आपको एनवायरनमेंट में भी पढ़ाया जाएगा. ठीक है, सो आप इधर वे इधर यू कैन डू इट हियर और देयर. अच्छा, एक टॉपिक जो आपको ज्योग्राफी में भी पढ़ाया जाएगा विच इज योर रेन्यूएबल सोर्सेस. ठीक है, सो आई एम नॉट डूइंग दैट, आई विल डू इट इन द ज्योग्राफी क्लास ओनली. ठीक है, सो एनवायरनमेंट इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट मीन्स व्हाट. देखिए, जब भी कोई प्रोजेक्ट स्टार्ट होता है, if any project is getting started, you have to analyze all the consequences of that project, not only good, bad as well. For example, if I say that I am starting a project, for example, Great Nicobar project in Andaman. This project has been quite important for India because strategically we are eyeing on Chinese invasion at near that area because we want to keep an eye on them. Apart from that, we are going to start the container terminal shipment also, which means now what was happening earlier, India was trying to station all the ships in the Colombo or in the Singapore. Why? Because we are not having that depth so that the big ships can station over here. So we were borrowing these areas from the different countries and we were giving them the charges for that. Around $220 million to 240 million is being invested into this process daily. मतलब annually आपका कितना खर्चा आ रहा है, investment हो रहा है. So revenue that we are putting, the investment that we are putting into that is around $220 to 240 million. जब आपका इतना investments हो रहा है, the amount of the money that we are spending on this, it's quite a lot. 220 to 240 million कोई कम नहीं होता. तो जितना आप बचा सकते हैं, कैसे बचाएंगे? अगर यही चीज आप इंडिया में करने लगते तो हमारे लिए सफिशिएंट होता, एसेंशियल होता. ठीक है, यू वुड हैव सेव्ड दिस मनी. तो उसको बचाने के लिए हम क्या कर रहे हैं? इन अंडमान निकोबार वी आर मेकिंग infrastructure so that instead of these ships being enrouted to these places, we will enroute it to the Andaman Nicobar. The time which is going, the development of these projects which is going to take, it's quite a lot. So we still have a time, but the point is at least we have started the project and this project is very essential for that. So that now what will happen, we don't have to enroute it to the Sri Lanka and Singapore directly, we can enroute it over here. And then we will transfer, we will just try to enroute all the ships, all etc. with the goods etc. to the different parts of the world. For example, Middle East, European countries etc. तो यहाँ पे हमारा पैसा बचेगा, यहाँ पे हमारा पैसा बचेगा. ठीक है, although the investment that we are doing is 70,000 crore, which is not less, 72,000 crore to be precise. So this is one. अब इससे प्रॉब्लम क्या क्रिएट हो रही है? एनवायरमेंटल इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट क्या क्या कह रहा है? ये एक बॉडी है, ठीक है, जो प्रोजेक्ट होता है उसको क्या करती है? चेक करती है कि आप ठीक है ये बना रहे हैं, बट व्हाट कुड बी द अदर कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस व्हिच आर देयर एट द हाइंड साइड व्हिच वी कैन नॉट सी. फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर ये प्रोजेक्ट बनेगा तो क्या होगा? all these forests has to be, we have to do what? All these forests have to be wiped off from here. We have to clear it. There's a clearance which has to be done of these trees. All right, सो जितना भी उन्होंने पेपर में मेंशन किया है ट्रीज कट होगा या फिर इम्पैक्ट होगा उससे ज्यादा ही है। तो इस बॉडी का काम क्या है, दिस विल गो एंड चेक वेदर इतना ही आपका इम्पैक्ट हो रहा है या उससे ज्यादा हो रहा है। अगर उससे ज्यादा हो रहा है डेफिनेटली दे विल स्टॉप द प्रोजेक्ट। व्हाई? अंडर द थिंग दैट इनफैक्ट ग्रेट निकोबार प्रोजेक्ट को भी उन्होंने स्टॉप किया था इसी पर्पस की वजह से कि आपका जितना वट एवर यू आर क्लेमिंग वर्सेज व्हाट इज देयर there in the ground reality, there's a stark difference between both. So we cannot do this. हम इतना एरिया को क्या नहीं कर सकते, खराब नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि ये एरिया किसमें आता है, निकोबार का मैक्सिमम एरिया आपका आता है बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व्स में। 85% of this area is considered sensitive in the biosphere reserve. When 85% of the area is under the biosphere reserve, how can you claim, how can you see that how can you clear so many number of the trees? So that is the point. Second is, ये इसलिए भी important है क्योंकि यहाँ पे एक ट्राइब रहता है, इनफैक्ट टू ट्राइब्स, वन इज शॉम्पन, अनदर वन इज निकोबारीज। ये दोनों ट्राइब्स के लिए बहुत ही important है ये एरिया। And if you will try to make such big investment and infrastructure, definitely it is going to be quite detrimental for these two tribes. So with that respect also, we are trying to keep this as one of the project which is going to, maybe it can create lot of impact in the biodiversity. ये एग्जाम्पल समझ में आया आपको? ठीक है, ये एक प्रोजेक्ट का एग्जाम्पल है, ऐसे बहुत न्यूमरस प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं विच आर देयर। एग्जाम्पल आप लिख सकते हैं एनवायरमेंटल इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट अबाउट ग्रेट निकोबार प्रोजेक्ट। ठीक है, लिखिए क्या पर्पस क्या है ग्रेट निकोबार प्रोजेक्ट का। वेरी गुड, ज्योग्राफिकली एडवांटेज को क्या बोलते हैं, यू कॉल इट एज स्ट्रेटेजिक एडवांटेज। ठीक है, द वर्ड इज स्ट्रेटेजिक। जब आईआर पढ़ेंगे तो यू विल अंडरस्टैंड ऑल दीज वर्ड्स। ठीक है, अब जो निकोबार प्रोजेक्ट बनाएंगे ऑब्वियसली इसको हाइड करने का कोशिश करेंगे, राइट। ओके, व्हाट इज द ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ ईआईए? क्या ऑब्जेक्टिव है कि कोई भी प्रोजेक्ट है उसमें आप सिर्फ ये नहीं देखेंगे फायदा क्या हो रहा है, आप एनवायरमेंट का इम्पैक्ट क्या क्या, कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस क्या क्या हो सकते हैं, वो सब कुछ आप चेक करेंगे। दैट इज द ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ ईआईए। राइट डाउन ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ ईआईए, लिखिए anticipate and evaluate environmental consequences, anticipate and evaluate environmental consequences of the development proposals. Second, proposals. Second, suggest mitigation measures, and alternatives to reduce negative impacts. Suggest mitigation measures and alternatives to reduce negative impacts. Next point, assist decision makers and planners, assist। अब ये ऑल्टरनेटिव दे सकते हैं, ईआईए के पास अथॉरिटी है कि वो बोल सकते हैं ये चीज आपके प्लान में सही नहीं है, आप इसको चेंज करके कुछ ऑल्टरनेटिव प्रपोजल्स दे कैन सजेस्ट टू देम। अभी उनके ऊपर है मानते हैं नहीं मानते, लॉट ऑफ टाइम दे डू क्लेम दैट वी आर गोइंग टू पुट इट इन रियलिटी, वी आर गोइंग टू implement all these rules, change rules that you have told us, that you have given to us, but in reality they do not do this. So EIE का ये duty बनता है, they should go then and should see whether the exact rules has been implemented or not. So write down, assist decision makers and planners in choosing sustainable project options, in choosing sustainable project options. And the last one is formulate an environmental management plan. Environmental management plan. Who is after this institutional framework, which is after implementation of this, which is Ministry of Environment and Forest, MOEF. Ministry of Environment and Forest, MOEF, plays a central role. It plays a central role in promoting EIA. In promoting EIA. In promoting EIA. Next point, EIA notification. EIA notification of 1994. EIA notification under 1994. Sorry, notification of 1994 under Environmental Protection Act, 1986. Under Environmental Protection Act 1986, mandates prior environmental clearance. Mandates prior, PRIOR, prior environmental clearance for specified development projects. Next point, projects. Next point, several environmental and pollution. Next point, several environmental and pollution control laws have also been enacted to regulate. Several environment and pollution control laws have also been enacted to regulate resource and pollution. ठीक है, तो institutional framework क्या है इंडिया में? What is an institutional framework that we are having in India? The first one is the Ministry of Forest plays a central role. Ministry of Forest क्या play करता है? Central role play करता है in promoting EIA. जब environmental impact assessment की बात करते हैं, so this MOEF is taking the central role. Then EIA notification of 1994 under EPA Act 1986 ये mandate करता है prior environmental clearance. प्राइवेट मतलब क्या मतलब है इसका? प्रायर ऐसा नहीं है कि प्रोजेक्ट बनने के बाद आप परमिशन ले रहे हैं. आप जब तक प्रोजेक्ट स्टार्ट नहीं करेंगे जब तक आपको क्लियरेंस नहीं मिलेगा EIA से. दिस बीइंग सच अ बिग प्रोजेक्ट, इनको भी क्या लेना पड़ा? क्लियरेंस लेना पड़ा. कोई भी प्रोजेक्ट स्टार्ट करने से पहले आपको क्या मिलेगा? क्लियरेंस. और क्लियरेंस आपको विद इन 6 मंथ्स मिल जाएगा, या तो मिलेगा या नहीं मिलेगा, दोनों में से एक चीज होगी. लेकिन 6 मंथ्स की ड्यूरेशन में यू विल गेट. ऐसा नहीं है दैट यू विल पुट योर एप्लीकेशन इन EIA. You have to wait for 2 years and more for the approval from EIA. That is not the case. Within 6 months, you will get the approval. Or if in any case there are changes to be done, then they will suggest you that accordingly. Okay. So prior environment, ये आपका important point है. Next, several environmental and pollution control laws. Next point, several environmental and pollution control laws have to be enacted. देखिए, several environmental and pollution control laws have to be enacted to regulate resource use and pollution. ठीक है, इसमें लास्ट चीज आपको करनी है. What do you have to do? You have to just make a diagram. ठीक है, 8 steps होते हैं इनकी. I'll try and give you the explanation of all these 8 steps. But first to draw the diagram. देखिए, phases of EIA process in India. Process in India. पहला क्या होगा? राइट डाउन. फर्स्ट होगा स्क्रीनिंग. अच्छा, स्क्रीनिंग क्यों होता है? ये देखने के लिए क्या ये प्रोजेक्ट is or it should be, whether treated by EIA or not. What do you mean by that? Reason being, the project has to be environmentally related only. The subject of the project should be environment, then only it will be categorized under EIA. अगर project ही EIA का नहीं है, मतलब environment से related ही project नहीं है, so what is the role of EIA in that? Nothing. So screening में क्या होगा? Determines whether a project requires environmental clearance under EIA. या तो ऐसा तो नहीं किसी और बॉडी के पास जाएगा, because the subject of the project could be different. So then the other department would take care of that. So it determines whether a project requires under EIA notification, requires environmental clearance. It determines, इसी के नीचे लिख लीजिए, जब फ्लो चार्ट बनाया ना, यहीं पे लिख लो, ज्यादा डिस्क्रिप्शन नहीं है इसका. It determines whether a project requires environmental clearance under EIA notification or not. ठीक है. अब उसमें क्या क्या आ सकता है? You can check investment scale. Investment scale अगर बहुत कम है, so EIA will not cater these projects. If the location is of outside, I mean, they are talking of some project which has been done and which has been going on in the international country, maybe Bhutan, by the Indian company only. So EIA has no role in that. The jurisdiction of the Bhutan will play in that particular project. So next is project location, and then the type of the activity. Maybe it is not related to the environment, it is something else only. So then, because these three sections are important to be noted before the project should go further through the process. ठीक है. Second point लिखिए, scoping. Scoping का क्या मतलब है? See, for everything, ये second step होता है इसके अंदर, please second लिखना उसके अंदर. Second step मतलब आपको, you have to refer to the specific consultants, to the experts of that area, of that particular field. You cannot just say that this is applicable and this is not. You need to have a backing of it. So you would need technical expertise into that. So you should consult it. So this is for the consultation. So done in the consultation with project proponents, consultants. It is done with the project proponents, consultant, and impact assessment authority. Impact assessment authority. Next होगा आपका baseline data collection. The third step would be baseline data collection. Baseline मतलब you have to collect it, how and to what extent the project is hampering the environment. So baseline data collection is required. It documents the current environmental status. देखिए, इसके अंदर it documents the current environmental status of the site. It documents the current, अभी जो चल रहा है, current environmental status of the site, कि अभी कितने पेड़ हैं वहाँ पे. ऐसा तो नहीं प्रोजेक्ट के बाद पूरा फॉरेस्ट ही गायब हो जाएगा. ठीक है. So you have to check that. So you should have the before and after picture of the same. Documents the current environmental status of the site. Next, involves primary data monitoring. It involves primary data monitoring. फिर आपका fourth step है impact prediction. Fourth step है impact prediction मतलब you have to check whether how much this project is going to affect the biodiversity and the nearby areas. Affect the biodiversity. That means you are going to check the consequence of the same. So write down impact as prediction. First point लिखिए, forecasts are likely to change. Forecasts are likely to change during the project. Likely to change due to the project. During construction एंड ऑपरेशन। जैसे आप ये चेक कर सकते हैं कितना एमिशन होगा, कितना नॉइज होगा, कितना वाटर क्वालिटी डिग्रेड हो सकता है, लैंड यूज पैटर्न चेंज हो सकता है, बायोडाइवर्सिटी इकोसिस्टम में चेंज हो सकता है काफी। जैसे अंडमान निकोबार प्रोजेक्ट में दिस वाज आल्सो कंसर्न, देयर वाज अ बे देयर, गैलाथिया बे, जहाँ पे आपके ऑलिव रिडले टर्टल्स आते हैं फॉर द प्रोसेस, फॉर द नेस्टिंग प्रोसेस। अगर वहाँ प्रोजेक्ट बनाएंगे तो ये क्या हो जाएंगे, कहीं और जाने लगेंगे। ठीक है, नेक्स्ट लिखेंगे असेसमेंट ऑफ ऑल्टरनेटिव्स एंड मिटिगेशन। आप उनको सोल्यूशन, ऑल्टरनेटिव सोल्यूशंस के लिए फिफ्थ स्टेप है, अगर ये पॉसिबल है इन एनी केस, असेसमेंट एंड मिटिगेशन। असेसमेंट एंड मिटिगेशन लिखिए, assessment of alternatives and mitigation, assessment of alternatives and mitigation, ये आपका प्रोसेस है। लिखिए इसके अंदर compare the project alternatives, compare the project alternatives। क्या ऑल्टरनेटिव सजेस्ट कर सकते हैं आप, लोकेशन सजेस्ट कर सकते हैं, टेक्नोलॉजी सजेस्ट कर सकते हैं, या फिर सीधा कह सकते हैं ये प्रोजेक्ट एप्लीकेबल ही नहीं है, ये पास ही नहीं हो सकता। ठीक है, ये भी उनके हाथ में क्या है, पावर है, इट्स अ क्वासी जुडिशियल बॉडी। तो नो प्रोजेक्ट ऑप्शंस। ठीक है, लास्ट आपका है, आई थिंक दिस इज द सेकंड लास्ट, आई थिंक हाउ मेनी हैव बीन डन, 1 2 3 4 5 6। लिखिए पब्लिक हियरिंग। पब्लिक हियरिंग क्यों, जैसे यहाँ पे इस प्रोजेक्ट में दे हैव कंसल्टेड टू द शॉम्पन एंड निकोबारीज ट्राइब, उनका भी स्टेटमेंट लिया गया है। ठीक है, तो उस केस में आपको पब्लिक डोमेन में डालना पड़ेगा कि ये प्रोजेक्ट है, दिस इज हाउ द इम्पैक्ट हैज बीन देयर, नाउ व्हाट इज योर कॉल, शुड दिस प्रोजेक्ट बी फर्दर, we should proceed with this project or we should stop this. So then public would react on that, and obviously the people who are directly being targeted through this project, they will also take the statements from them. ठीक है, so write down mandatory consultation with, this a mandate, mandatory consultation with the local residents, mandatory consultation with the local residents, comma NGO and community association. नेक्स्ट आपका सेवेंथ है, आई थिंक सेवेंथ, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, राइट, एनवायरमेंटल मैनेजमेंट प्लान। environmental management plan which includes measures for mitigation। अभी environmental management plan चल रहा है, they are being given the compensation to the Shampan tribes, let's see how it goes। environmental management plan first include करता है measurement for mitigation and compensation, first point है measures for mitigation and compensation। okay, the last one is decision making। अब सबका कलेक्टिव आपका फीडबैक लेकर आपको क्या डिसाइड करना है, that what finally you are deciding on that project। ठीक है, what is the decision making, you have to finally review and you have to come out with the conclusion, write down। last is decision making, first one is it involves review of EIA, it involves review of EIA, impact, environmental impact assessment। EIA का रिव्यू करेंगे, EMP का रिव्यू करेंगे कि एनवायरमेंटल मैनेजमेंट प्लान में जो भी आपको मिटिगेशन दिया गया क्या वो सही है। ठीक है, तो रिव्यू ऑफ EIA, EMP and public feedback, and public feedback। मैनेजमेंट प्लान आपने लिखा है वो .7 है। ठीक है, एंड पब्लिक फीडबैक। द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट लिखिए कंसल्टेशन विद द प्रोजेक्ट प्रोपोनेंट्स, कंसल्टेशन विद द प्रोजेक्ट प्रोपोनेंट्स एंड इम्पैक्ट। अभी इसमें निकोबार में कौन है प्रोजेक्ट प्रोपोनेंट, गवर्नमेंट वांट्स टू, है ना। कंसल्टेशन बिटवीन प्रोजेक्ट प्रोपोनेंट एंड इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट एजेंसी, consultation between project proponent and impact assessment agency। The last one is final decision on grant, the last decision is final decision or grant or refusal of. Last is final decision or grant or refusal of the project. That's all. With this, your syllabus is completed. All right. Thank you so much, class.